Nano Academy presents the tips on hair strokes, how to draw it fast, how to be symmetrical right and to copy on another brow the same strokes as is done on another one. In our educational video we will discuss regarding the needle, which is usable for the hair strokes done by machine, for the microblading and what's the difference in hair strokes between machine and microblading, who is the best candidate for their hair stroke technique, and many others. Welcome to our journey of the hair strokes from Nano. We start to build our brow. Our brow consists always of 4 different lines. The start from the head till the highest arch. So this is always either straight line, either a little bit curved in. From the highest point of arch till the tail, it's always either curved out, it's never curved in, never straight, usually. Another stroke is from the lower part of the head till the highest point of the lower part of the brow. It can be a little bit curved in or either straight. You will never make mistakes if you start to draw straight lines, because each face is not a paper, is not a board. Each face is different, and due to this fact, in any face, anyhow, straight lines anyway will look as a curved lines. So, though we have the board, that's why I try to create the curved lines. Though on any person you can create the straight lines, you will never make mistakes, it will be very quick job done, and at the end you will just little bit add, let's say, the edges. So, let's call them. Beginning of the brow, it will be 1, the highest point will be 2, and the tail will be 3. The lower part will be, let's call it 4, 5, it's where usually head finishes, and the highest point of lower part, it will be number 6. What about the head? The head can be either straight, which will give more aggressive, strong male view if it's for the women, or is a little bit, let's say, 2 mm out. It's never like that. So, this is our brow, and it's never can be lined down like that. It's always either straight, either 2 mm curved out, the same as here. As a professional masters, they prefer to keep the head for the end, for the dessert, and start to draw the main body of the brow with a tail. Then come back to the head, because the head is the most important in the brow, in order to be totally symmetrical with another brow as the right brow of our guest. It's highly advisable to count the strokes. That's how you need to know the schemes in order to reflect absolutely the same brow on another right brow of the client and be totally symmetrical. The difference between the strokes, any strokes we create, try always to keep 1.5–2 mm, as due to the fact when it will be healed result, it can be, if it will be more close, it can be like one spot, so which is will not really look like natural hair strokes. So let's start. I will explain you the easiest way of drawing. Look at the photo. The hair meeting each other in the point 6. It calls the spine. It's when upper strokes and lower strokes meet each other. So, the brow number 1, the scheme of the brow is when our spine meeting at the point number 6, which means at the highest point of the lower brow. 70% of the people, usually by statistic, has this kind of the brow. Another 30% by statistic has the spine which finishes at tail at point number 3, which means it will be more hair upper, lower from lower side, and less hair from upper side. The Asian people usually have the strokes which finish at point number 5. So the spine is this, it's where hair meets. And how to know where the spine, it means when you look at the brow, you will see that the hair meets exactly at point number 5, 6 or 3. And number 4 schemes, actually knowing at least one scheme, as I always offer to know the scheme number 6. Point number 6 spine transition where finishes at number 6, so it will be very easy to know how to draw number 5, how to draw number 3, and the classic way, it's European way sometimes they call, when all hairs looking up, there are no hairs up going down, so it's the easiest thing. Let's speak today about spine number 6. At the beginning, as a beginner, you will definitely, it will be much better if you not visualize, but you will place by the pencil the spine on the brow of your model, or at the beginning of the latex when you train your hand. I said that between strokes there are always 1.5 to millimeter interval. How the strokes must look? Look carefully at this. They are never too curved and never too straight. They are just looking absolutely natural. That's a natural stroke, how it grows in our skin. So let's leave our head. How to know where the head will finish? Will definitely never answer you this question, because you will always follow the golden rule number 1. First, your brows, which person has, it's already the brows which you will follow the natural hair strokes. So, and the natural brow will show you where the head finishes. In the head, the strokes are always more straight, and where you see that transition, that the brow is starting to bend a bit on the right or either on the left on another brow, so this is the beginning of your transition. Where your transition will finish, number 6 point or either number 3, this also will show you the natural brow. If you have a guest which is absolutely has alopecia or doesn't have hair much, you are the one who will decide which spine you will choose. It's always, in this case, preference, my personal preference, going on number 3 or either European style if the complexion of the skin features allows you to do that. So, there is one exception. If the original hair looking much down, all of them, there are sometimes cases like that, definitely we should not follow this procedure. We should not follow the procedure of hair stroke technique, because we will add a little bit of defect in the brows. It's much better go for shading, for shading technique. We will also not recommend the technique of hair strokes for oily skin, because the oily skin always pushes out the pigment out, and after healing a result is not wonderful. It's like one spot, you will not see the real strokes. It's a very amazing technique done by microblading pen or either by machine when it's combined skin or the dry skin. If you don't have hair at all, as I said, it's better to choose number 6 spine or number 3 spine, the skin. And at the same time, it will not look so natural hair strokes without absolute, let's say, when hair is not visible on the brow. We highly recommend, in this case, you still can go for this technique as a hair strokes, though at the shading when you finish the hair strokes, also done manually by microblading pen or either by machine. Let's start our journey of the skin, which is super easy. You just don't forget to count the strokes which you try to draw in order easily to copy that on your another brow. The stroke number 1. They are mostly touch the spine, but they still don't touch. They are mostly touch, but they still don't touch. They are mostly touch, but they don't touch. And the last stroke always lay down on the point number 6, either point number 3. How many strokes do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 strokes must be copied on another brow. This is our skeleton. Now we create our skeleton in order. If it will be a real model, we will remove our pencil, which we draw, and we will follow with additional hair strokes later on. As you see, our stroke is easy. It's just a little bit curved, but not straight and not too much curved. The same strokes which we draw here, we will do it from upper side. The same thing, it's mainly touch the spine, but it's still not touching. Our strokes, all of them, always going to number 3. They are never too down, they are never too straight, they are a little bit curved in. This is our brow. We have a skeleton and we need to add the additional strokes. We will look how thick our brow or either thin our brow, and we will judge how many strokes we can add in between them. Just always remember, never upper and lower strokes touch our spine. Either it's spine 6, either it's spine 3, either it's spine number 5. They never touch because between them we need to add extra strokes. Hope it's understandable. The scheme is very easy. All the brow, knowing only one rule and understanding only one rule, you will get a very quick job. All the brow consists of additional strokes. This is our skeleton. First strokes, either upper, either lower. The difference is only that upper they are looking up and lower they are the same ones, but they are located like horizontally. So how to make the additional stroke? It's very easy. You can touch either the previous brow and pass the next one. Please remember, don't cross them. Cross is prohibited in this work. After the heal process, it will be like a point here. It will not be as hair strokes, it will be pigments like a spot visible. So, this is the first scheme which you can use. It's the same as here. On the lower strokes, it can be touched and create the second strokes. Or either the second scheme, which is very easy. You don't touch the previous one, you start down, and it's the same way, where you can add in the future more strokes, as per your judgment, or over here. So let's start to add our strokes to our initial strokes. We touch the previous one and we pass from the next one. In this case, we already touch our spine with our additional low strokes. We touch our previous and we come to the spine. We touch our additional and we come to the spine. Our low additional strokes are quite ready. Let's go to the same. How we build their upper strokes. We can touch the previous one. In this case, if you see the space here, you have more space where you can add more strokes. Just don't touch the spine. Keep the difference, the interval between them. In this case, you can easily after to add much more strokes. I think it's understandable enough. At the end, as per your judgment, you can add also strokes over here. Mistake number 1 frequently done by beginners is they try to make upper strokes very up, a very down look, the same as they meet each other, and it's created such a fish pond. It calls fish pond by professional language in PMU industry. Number 2, they usually don't follow the same intervals between the lines. And on the healed process, it will look unprofessional work. This is our upper strokes. They are mainly the same intervals between them. The same with upper lines, lower lines. It's the same interval must be between them. Try always to keep the same intervals between up and down, the same as here. So this is frequently done mistakes which we don't follow is, let's continue to draw our brow, which is finishes at number 6 point. Look at the picture, how it's looking. Now we come back to our main brow. The head can be absolutely different. Definitely we will follow the hair strokes of the natural brow. And always remember, on the question of your guest, why my head of the brow a little bit different, you cannot find symmetrical natural strokes on any person. On some brow it will be more straight, on another brow it will be more left, though we are here to assist and create the absolute symmetry in both brows. We will look and judge as per natural brows. If we have hair and the same scheme, we will choose. I always prefer to create some hairs before the brow at the beginning to look more natural, not start with long brow, long hair strokes at the beginning, which looks super unnatural. You can use it for this and the same skin, based on the same scheme. You know already the scheme, and it's quite easy for you, I'm sure in that. So the first strokes usually don't touch upper and lower line of the head. The additional strokes, they can touch the upper and lower. Though next we create a transition. What does mean transition? And where our hair bends to another side, they are not straight anymore. The transition usually is the most curvest, most stroke. This is transition number 8. This is transition number 2. Each touches our upper line, and between them coming number C transition, which is give us the direction of our spine, where we can add the strokes. How to add the strokes you already know. Touch the previous one and go ahead. And as per judgment you can add more and more strokes. This scheme is quite easy. Definitely in the tail you will add more and more strokes. As per your judgment again, this is the easiest scheme. If you understood how it works, if you count the quantity of the hairs at the beginning, you will be able to copy it on another brow. If you count how many skeleton lines you did on the lower part of the brow, you will be able to copy it as well. The same things we are doing with the upper part of the brow. You will probably ask, if I work by machine and create the hair strokes by machine, which needle should I use? If it's a cartridge one, it's 1 RL, or either Nano is 2. So we'll talk now about the frequently used scheme number 3, where the spine meets in number 3. Your question would be, how fine, how long the upper strokes in spine approximately? Approximately in cases it's 70–80%. The upper strokes are in every spine and 20–30% in upper spine. So again, it's very individual. You will always follow the natural hair strokes. So you will see the spine over there where more hair meet each other. This is the spine. So let's create our spine number 3. Our transition will be over here approximately. So our head usually is like half of the 0.5 points, so it's like half of it usually. So it will be our spine. So let's create our spine. It's usually coming in the middle, a bit upper from the lower side. Everything is easy. What the difference would be in our transition 6 and 3? Here the strokes bend a bit more further than here on 6. Here they will bend because they must finish on 6. The last stroke will be on 6. Here they will look much upper because they must finish at the end. And the last stroke as well will lay down on number 3. This is our upper strokes. Definitely here much more strokes, and you must know the quantity of them in order to copy them on another brow. So the same as it was explained before, we build our lower strokes in the same technique. They don't touch each other, they don't touch the spine as well. Note please, the upper strokes, additional ones, the additional strokes, they are less curved than the first ones. They are more straight because you usually will not have space here to add, otherwise they will cross. We cannot cross the line ever, otherwise it will be spot here and your pigment will look like a spot, not like a hair stroke. So we never cross each other. This is the rudest mistake which, yes, unfortunately beginners are done. So the same thing we are doing here. We touch the previous line and we touch our spine. Our brow is mainly ready, where we will add, as you see here, lots of spaces. We can add more and more hairs as per your judgment again. Knowing the scheme, you will be able to do it. We come back to our head. We remember our spine, which is the curvest line. It's spine A, spine B touches our upper line, and touch C gives us the direction of our spine, in this case spine number 3. This is the C. We will add more lines following our scheme, and we are ready mainly with our brow. After that you add, it's quite difficult to work with a marker, it's not precisely good job done because it's just a marker and thick one, so I hope it's understandable for you enough. So we draw our strokes on the hand. We follow our natural strokes. Can be more straight as well. Our head is done. We add some strokes and our brow is ready. The spine number 5, which is Asian style, from the beginning, from the head already, our strokes are looking quite down. It's very curved and starting. In the same way we do transition, but it bends very fast, as the last stroke must already lay down on line and point number 5. That's how it builds. Therefore, all hairs trying to look quite down, and all the rest hair as well are not looking at point number 3, they are more down. That's how it works, and the same scheme you will use over here. So it's quite a rare scheme, in contrast of the spine number 3 and number 6. So definitely anyhow it means, and we don't recommend much to do the microblading or by machine hair strokes, as you will underline the defect in the brows. It's much better to go with a shading technique in the point number 5 spine. I hope our scheme was easy to understand and tips were quite useful. Watch us on our other videos with European hair stroke style. Thank you!